At the base of Mount Fuji, there is a cave that seems unnaturally deep, as if the mountain itself has been torn open. This place is known as Hitawana, a cavern stretching nearly 270 feet underground. Originally, it was formed by volcanic eruptions, a natural hollow left behind by fire and pressure. But during Japan's medieval era, something happened that transformed this cave into something far more disturbing. The story traces back to June of 1203, to Minamoto no Yorie, the son of Japan's first shogun. After learning of the cave's existence, Yori ordered 5 retainers to explore it. Inside, the air grew thick. Bats filled the darkness, swarming overhead like restless spirits. Along the ground, dark, glossy snakes twisted over one another, blocking the path forward. As the men moved deeper, the sounds began. First, distant screams, as if thousands of voices were crying out at once. Then closer, the sound of someone quietly weeping. Despite the fear, they continued. Suddenly, the tunnel opened into a vast underground river. Across the water, a blinding light appeared, and within it, a figure that did not seem entirely human. Moments later, 4 of the 5 men were dead. Only one survived. Barely escaping, he returned and told Yoria everything. From that day forward, Hitawana was feared as a place that should never be entered, a forbidden site, a doorway to another world. In the city of Ichikawa, near Tokyo, surrounded by busy roads, residential houses, and constant traffic, there is a small forest that feels completely out of place, a patch of green that seems untouched by the modern city around it. Its name is Yawata no Yabushirasu, the grove you must never enter. The forest covers less than 2,200 square feet, roughly half the size of a basketball court. It is small enough to walk past in seconds, yet for centuries one rule has remained unchanged. No one is allowed inside. An Edo period historical record states plainly, those who enter this grove do not return. The warning is simple, and it offers no explanation. The most famous legend involves Tokugawa Mitsukuni, later known as the real-life inspiration for the folk hero Mito Koman. Driven by curiosity, he chose to enter the grove alone, without guards or attendants. Inside, he was confronted by visions, shapes and presences that were neither fully visible nor fully understood, illusions that blurred the line between reality and imagination. At the end of the experience, a young woman appeared and quietly whispered, "This time, you may leave." Mitsukuni escaped, deeply shaken, and immediately declared the forest a permanent forbidden zone. He never spoke publicly about what he witnessed inside. To this day, the grove remains sealed behind a fence, standing silently in the middle of the city. No one enters. Some modern spiritualists claim that something at the center of the forest warps time itself, as if the space inside does not move at the same pace as the world outside. Rising in central Japan is Mount Tateyama, a dramatic range of peaks reaching over 9,800 feet above sea level. Its sharp ridgelines and sudden weather changes have long set it apart from ordinary mountains. For centuries, it has been known as the mountain the dead must cross, a place where the journey after death was believed to begin. According to local belief, the boundary between the living world and the afterlife exists here, hidden within the landscape itself. That boundary takes the form of the Sansu River, Japan's spiritual equivalent of the River Styx. And the bridge that spans it, the Cloth Bridge, was seen as a sacred divide, marking the final separation between life and death. The bridge still exists today, standing quietly in the mountains, much as it has for centuries. On the far side, there are only graves, no homes, no villages, nothing meant for the living. Ancient Buddhist texts describe monks encountering wandering spirits in this region, souls unable to move on, carrying final messages for the living world. People believed that if you came to Tateyama, you could encounter those who had fallen into hell, and through prayer and ritual, help guide them toward redemption. In doing so, the living were also thought to cleanse their own sins. Nearby lies Hell Valley, where sulfur vents hiss from the ground and scorched rock stretches in every direction. The landscape looks exactly as its name suggests, a vision drawn straight from religious imagination. Medieval mandalas even depicted Mount Tateyama as a literal map of the afterlife, a place where hell, judgment, and salvation were believed to exist side by side. Deep in the mountains of Shimane Prefecture lies Yomotsu Hirasaka, a quiet slope hidden far from modern roads and towns. In Japanese mythology, this place is known as the boundary between the living world and the land of the dead, a point of no return where life and death are said to separate. It appears in the Kojiki, Japan's oldest surviving chronicle, recorded long before written history became fixed. The god Izanagi came here to retrieve his wife, Izanami, from the underworld, refusing to accept her death. When they met, she warned him in a calm voice, "Do not look at me," a final condition meant to preserve the boundary between worlds. But curiosity overcame him. What Izanagi saw was no longer the woman he loved, but a body in decay, corrupted and consumed by death itself. Overwhelmed with fear, Izanagi turned and fled. Behind him, Izanami unleashed monstrous spirits, sent to chase him down and drag him back into the underworld. At the slope's end, Izanagi sealed the entrance with a massive stone, blocking the path forever and separating the worlds once again. That stone still stands today, wrapped in sacred rope, untouched, a silent marker of where the living world ends. In Kyoto, at a place once used for cremation, stands Rokudo Chinoji Temple, quietly set apart from the surrounding city. For centuries, this location has been associated with the passage of souls between the living world and the dead. Within its grounds are two sealed wells, both tied to the underworld. The first is known as the Well of the Dead. Legend says the scholar and poet Ono no Takamura used this well at night to travel to the underworld, where he served as an assistant to the king of hell. By day, he was a respected official. By night, he was said to cross the boundary between worlds. The second well is called the Well of Return, used to come back to the world of the living. In other words, this temple is believed to hold both the entrance and the exit to the afterlife. During the summer festival honoring the dead, bells are rung throughout the grounds to guide lost spirits home, clearing a path for their return. The wells remain sealed. No one is allowed to look inside. But many say the moment you stand nearby, the air goes completely still, as if sound itself is being pulled away. At the northern tip of Japan's main island lies Mount Osore, a remote and isolated place often called the gateway to the dead. The land here feels abandoned. Nothing grows naturally. No trees, no grass, only exposed rock and ash. Sulfur smoke rises constantly from the ground, drifting slowly across the landscape. The sharp smell hangs in the air, making it difficult to forget where you are standing. The terrain feels stripped of life, as if nature itself has withdrawn. Beside the mountain sits Lake Usori, its surface unnaturally calm, reflecting the gray sky above. Along its shores lie places known as Blood Pool Hell and the Riverbed of Souls, names that leave little to the imagination. For centuries, this place was believed to hold both hell and paradise at the same time, a rare point where suffering and salvation exist side by side. Every July, blind shamans known as Itako gather here from across the region. Through ritual and chant, they are said to speak with the spirits of the dead, delivering words meant for the living. Many visitors describe an unexplainable sensation, a subtle shift in the air, a heaviness that appears without warning, a presence felt but never clearly seen. Scientists describe Mount Osor as a product of volcanic activity, a landscape shaped by heat, gas, and time. But those who have stood there often leave with a different impression, a quiet certainty that something about this place cannot be fully explained, as if the boundary between worlds is thinner here than it should ever be. These places have been passed down for centuries as legends, stories people tell to explain what they cannot understand. And yet, one fact remains. Even today they are feared, restricted, sealed off, as if something beyond us still exists there. And if these sites truly mark the boundary between this world and whatever lies beyond, then the question isn't what's on the other side. It's whether we're really standing where we think we are.